And as many of these places here, they have a history that sometimes they pop up in history repeatedly over the centuries. And this one, when I came here first soon after the reunification of Germany, and I'm exploring my new home. And they've got a tower there, so I went up the tower to have a look. That was my intention. And now on the first floor, in the sort of the aisle to the church room, they've got a table with the person where you paid your money to climb the tower, and they've got lots of leaflets. John Wesley, John Wesley, John Wesley. Why have they got John Wesley leaflets? This was just after the fall of communism. I couldn't believe that there were Methodists in Germany, and let alone a Methodist church. And I asked, well, how come? Is this Methodist? Yes. How come? He said, well, there were a small group of Methodists who met in the town regularly, and the group got bigger, too big for the living rooms where they met. And they wanted a church or some sort of building. And they asked the city council, which is communist, and they believe in opium. And so they said no. And so they asked again after a couple of years. Council said no. And then a bit later on, it was signalled that, well, maybe they could have a church if they paid for it in dollars, which was impossible for a citizen of a communist country to own dollars. So they wrote to all their friends all over the world, Methodists and non-Methodists, please help us buy this church. And everybody sent dollars, and they managed to buy the church, which is a fantastic story. And now you'll see the Methodist logo outside. Okay, so that's a little bit about that church. Originally, this is where you would have painted red and the plasterwork is white. That was once 4 houses. That was 4 houses with 4 shops downstairs on the bridge side, and above it storerooms and space for 4 families to live in their own apartments. And families in those days consist of several generations. And then added to that, you don't have, when you have that little space, you haven't got much space. Wide staircases, so you're going up and down ladders. How many people? There'd be hundreds of people would have lived in these houses altogether. I mean, just one house, you could think between 12 and 20 people.
And then the eggs in the house. That's the eggs.
How old is the house?
So how old? Sorry, the age. 14th century. 14th century. 15th century. Martin Luther. And on the right-hand side, it's the classroom. And upstairs, the students live. They're packed in, there's pretty much hostel basis. Yeah, it's not luxury accommodation or anything.
They have basements too?
Well, not here, because of the flooding. It's not safe. I mean, it would just flood. And that would in Martin Luther's day, this is happening regularly. I mean, look where we're standing here and imagine the water coming up to that level. It floods way out in the space between the end of the old year, so when you go to bed, and the beginning of the new year when you get up. There was this sort of nothing space where they believe that the ghosts of those people walked abroad. Yeah, this is why we put pumpkins in the window to scare away those ghosts.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
Is that a filled-in door there?
That would be a filled-in doorway, that's right. We have to remember when this was built, the street plan here would have been very different. We're not quite sure. Maybe there was a building next to it or whatever. But this has a long association, as I said, with Martin Luther and with Johannes Lang. And as I said, we jump about through the centuries. We got to the communist times. This was communist East Germany here, where Erfurt is. This, where the churches generally, the Catholic and the Protestant, were forced together, a marriage of convenience against the communists who didn't believe in them, so to speak, and one would have liked to have got rid of them. But the fact that both of these churches had friends all over the world meant that the communists didn't feel powerful enough just to abolish them. But most of this building behind was 60% is original, and maybe 40% is repaired bomb damage. This got hit during the war. This is one of, I point out a few places that got damaged. This is one of them. This one. maybe 100 years. But look at the symbol on the grill over the window on the right-hand side. Can anybody guess what happens here? Yeah, people. This is where marriages take place. It's the registry office. Marriages, deaths, births, everything else. You register them here. So after the 30 Years' War, when a third of the churches are made redundant, most of them were used as watchtowers. Most of the towers were used as watchtowers. The churches were not really, many of them were not suitable for restoration or restoring or anything. So they pulled them down. This church in particular is interesting. This is St. Nicholas Church. Martin Luther was there. I stood at the college, and he would have walked on this way. If he's going anywhere to the east, visiting his parents or anything, he goes out this way. He goes past this church. We're going to walk on a little bit because it's not very warm. With the Reformation, the pulpit comes inside. Now, in this particular church, when it was finished, there was a wall here, a solid wall. Here. You could walk on it. And it was high enough that the people out there couldn't see the people, they couldn't see the faces of the people here. All they could see was, if they stood up, they would see the priest when he stands in front of the altar and holds up the bread or the wine. They could see his hands. But other than that, they can't actually see what's happening here. And here was reserved for men. Only men. You've all got special permission to be here today, okay? And furthermore, that wall is there because the monks don't even want to see a woman. It could ruin their whole day. Make them think about things they should not be thinking about. Okay, they have one main rule, and I must emphasize this, ora et labora, to pray and to work for the glory of God. And everything else, I'm cold, I'm tired, I'm hungry, forget it. That's not important. That's pure physical. Yeah, ora et labora, that is their spiritual aim, and not the physical problems that we all complain about. Okay, so there's a wall here. When it was finished, all of these windows were stained glass. All of them here in the choir. Look at those windows. They've just recently been restored. They were put back 3 years ago on record. Okay. So those are the replacements. Now over on the north side, but look at the windows. Look how they shine. And imagine all of these windows here full of coloured glass. And then think about, I'll give you a little secret. Not many people realise this. Martin Luther never went to the cinema. It's important. He never saw a colour TV. If he sees a bright light at night, then it's either a candle or the moon. And you're sitting here in this twilight with these colours surrounding you. And these windows, when we look at them, we see pretty patterns, we see faces we don't know, plants, animals. Has no meaning for us. Now I know, okay, we're some 100 years old when he first sees it. He takes the red window as the basis for its seal, and he takes the red centre and turns it into a heart. I've got one here as well. Takes the red centre, turns it into a heart, and adds a black cross. And then it becomes the Luther Rose. So this here is the this is the inspiration for the Luther Rose. But the whole of this window is actually in honour of the qualities that make Mary suitable to be the mother of Jesus. It's not worshipping Mary. That comes later. It's not the Mary cult. But this is saying, hey, she's got these qualities. Maybe it's good if we have them. And I give you an example. An example in here. A pair of turquoise birds. We call them parrots. There is a problem. This window dates from 1315, and that's before Columbus was born. Parrots come from the Amazon. How did the monks in the middle of Europe know about birds from a land they'd never heard of? There's another problem. The parrots here stand for the purity of Mary. Has anybody ever seen a parrot? they're not very pure. If you look underneath where they've been roosting, they're not very pure. Well, firstly, that's the problem, parrot. Parrot actually is a generic word in English for birds that sing. Parrot. It's a verb. It starts off as a verb. And we use it for many different types. Parakeet, or even those types. Prague was probably as many people in Prague speaking German as Czech. Okay, so but he realizes printing has a problem. Printing has a problem. If I can't read, then it's useless if I get saying, remember, Martin Luther's day, most people can't read. Yeah, reading was not widespread. Normally, for the average person, you'd have to go to a priest. I get a letter. I can't read it. I don't even know which way up it goes. Yeah? I go to the priest and I ask the priest, please read this to me. Oh, it's a birthday invitation from Auntie Mary. Oh, that's very nice. Nowadays, she sends me an email. And if I have no way of connecting to the World Wide Web or the internet or anything, how am I going to know I've even got an invitation? At least with a letter, I've got something, even if I don't know what it says. Now I don't even know if I've got it, if I haven't got any way. Sometimes they don't want to sing today, they just want to ring the bell. Go on, sing. Oh, they're singing. Okay, and that is an example of a sacred song that is not, I mean, it's beautiful music, but it's useless to hoe a field or scatter the seed by. I mean, it's just, you can't sing that and hoe the field. Okay, around the bell here we have a rough timetable of the life in the monastery. They would start their day at 4 o'clock in the morning with a meeting. After the meeting they go off and do their tasks. And eventually the bell rings for midday prayers, and after midday prayers the monks get breakfast. They get up at 4 in the morning and have breakfast in the afternoon. That's why I'm not a monk. Well, one of the reasons, there are others. Come and stay the night here. And in fact, if you ever get the chance, I know you're in the Radisson, and the Radisson has a standard of comfort that we expect from a hotel today. It has all the basic amenities. But you come here, they have extras, special extras that you will not find in many, many other hotels and places. I really promise you. You should try and get a room here, but you have to book up a long time in advance.
O God, Lord of our time and our lives, we bring back to you this week that we received from your hands. We bring all the good things, the people we met, the good things we have encountered. And we bring also back, wir singen und beten den Psalm 138 auf der Seite 4. We will pray Psalm 138. You have two possibilities. You can read in English on page 5, or you can try to sing with us in German on page 4.